Welcome to SVGTV's news for Tuesday, April the 28th, 2020. I am Bhavin there with the details. The PCR equipment to commence in-country testing for COVID-19 is yet to arrive in the state. This is according to Minister of Health, Wellness and Environment Luke Brown, who said he remains optimistic that the equipment will arrive in the country before the end of the week, as was indicated by him at last Tuesday's press conference.
The PCR equipment, I'm waiting for the latest update from the lab on its location. As I understand it, it has or should have already been delivered to the courier. I think that courier is DHL in this case for onward shipment to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm just hoping to get a status update on it so that I could provide more information in that regard.
There are now 100 persons in quarantine here, which was noted in the latest update provided by the Minister of Health today. Minister of Health Luke Brown said that contract tracing continues for the last 3 cases, which was said to be a part of a cluster due to import-related local spread. The minister said they have been trying their best to contain the spread of the virus in the country.
Of persons who were contact traced as a result of the most recent cases, I think it was about 11 or so persons. Some of those persons have been cleared already, and but they're individuals who are being kept in quarantine, including some of the persons who may have been involved in medical treatment and care of the most recent cases. So I mean, as usual, we are doing our work with prudence, and I believe that our best efforts will be rewarded.
Brown stated that they are treating the cases in a cluster of local spread as any other COVID-19 case, and part of the strategy is similar to that of dealing with a fire.
You have to make sure that you go after all the areas where it might be, and to keep at it until you basically get all the flames under control. And you know, the mechanism is not so critical. I mean, the fact that we have this cluster in a local community might say to us that there is the need for special interventions around it, and we have been carrying out those special interventions. But you know, apart from that, we treat a COVID-19 case as a COVID-19 case, and this means that it is something for us to go at aggressively to see if we could detect any possible case, any possible additional cases surrounding it, to see if we could take the persons who may have been exposed and put them into quarantine, to provide the best possible care and treatment to the patients which are affected, so that we could nurse them back to health. That is where our thinking and our focus is when treated with a COVID-19 case.
To date, SVG has 15 confirmed cases of COVID-19, of which 7 are active cases and 8 recovered. Meanwhile, the opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday said SVG's first priority is to protect citizens home and abroad, especially in this time of COVID-19 pandemic, which has left a number of nationals stranded on cruise ships. On the party's inaugural Facebook Live program last evening, Dr. Friday said some of these sailors are in a difficult situation, and having them repatriated should be made a top priority.
They're stuck in circumstances that are less than ideal or safe or unsafe. You have to assist them to come home, and that's an obligation that the government has and should exercise. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. That's our first duty. If other people wish to assist us in doing so, then so be it. We are happy to do so, but we can't shirk our responsibility to look after our citizens no matter where they are. And we know right now, what you're talking about here is that the cruise ship, the people who are stuck in the cruise ships, who are in difficult circumstances because they want to come home, and they're not being permitted now to come because arrangements that were being made by one of the cruise ship companies seem to have gone awry because of the government and the company can't come to some agreement as to how they would repatriate our people. I think it's our responsibility if the company is bringing them here, delivering them to our shores. It is our responsibility to look after them once they're here.
One would ask,
make sure that is done.
One would ask now, well then how do we, from a financial standpoint, how do we accommodate them? How do
The opposition leader said it is important to take the necessary steps to help the returning nationals who wish to come home, including oil rig workers, sailors, students, and other citizens.
You also have those persons who work on the oil rigs, in the Gulf of Mexico. They're in Louisiana and Mississippi, and some of them, they're stuck there. They have not been working because their work is terminated. And more of them probably will be, because with oil prices being so low, the rigs may stop drilling. But we have to look out for them too and say how we're going to get them home. The students who are in Cuba who wish to come home, the students who are in Jamaica, these are our nationals. We have to facilitate and make sure that if those who wish to stay on where they are and until circumstances change, then that is a choice that they make, and hopefully it works out well for them. But those who wish to come home, and you can't imagine somebody stuck on a cruise ship indefinitely. Mm-hmm. What is going to change in the next month or two to their circumstances that will make it any better than bringing them home now?
Dr. Friday said that there are a lot of factors that must be taken into consideration, and that he is particularly concerned about SVG's tarnishing its relationship with the various cruise lines.
And then we, of course, have to look long term, because ultimately we have to live with this crisis the virus for some time to come. The cruise industry will be back up. We want to make sure we maintain good relationship with them so that our seafarers who make a living on the cruise ships can continue to do so. Mm-hmm. And the reason they come here, the cruise ship come here to get sailors, is because they're good. They do a good job. Mm-hmm. And people who go out, some of them, it's a career. They're made of it. They go and they come and they build their homes, they raise their families, and this is something that we would want to continue after this crisis the worst of it is over and the business resumes. And if, of course, we burn our bridges, mm-hmm. then we can create problems for those, the continuation of those people finding work in that industry. I hope that is not the case, and certainly, I would urge that anyone who is involved in repatriating our sailors, that they do so.
On radio on Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the cruise lines have a responsibility to the sailors, and that he will not cave to attempts being made by some to undermine his efforts with the ongoing negotiations for the repatriation of the sailors, which he maintained must be done in a structured manner. The Prime Minister said local hoteliers have negotiated a fee of EC $150 EC per night, inclusive of 3 meals for the 300+ returning sailors, and that the cruise line should have to pay this fee for a quarantine period of 14 days. And the Minister of Health, Luke Brown, told our news desk today that the cruise lines are still in the process of finalizing arrangements for the sailors to return home, and that the expected date of Thursday, April 30th is not realistic.
There was an initial story which spoke about a return date of April 30th. I don't know if that was realistic in the circumstances that are prevailing abroad, with all that has to be done by the cruise ship companies to satisfy the law in foreign countries, as I understand it. So we are just on standby to hear further definitive word on it, so we could facilitate the transfer of our young men or young women and older men and older women back to sweet Hiruna.
Meanwhile, today, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines announced a $400 payout to each of its employees who are still on board some of their ships. In a statement posted on its website, the company said, recognizing the financial stress during this time of uncertainty, it will be offering these employees a one-time goodwill payout of a $400 over the next 30 days. The company further noted that the payment is not calculated based on the employees' regular wages, since their contract have concluded and they are in a non-working capacity on these ships. Meanwhile, 500 persons here are expected to benefit from an interim assistance from the government as part of the stimulus package, which is now being rolled out. So says Minister of Health Luke Brown, who noted that the initiative is being spearheaded by the Ministry of National Mobilization and will go to persons who are not on public assistance.
support for persons who may have been affected by COVID-19. So it is available to persons who are not on public assistance and who do not otherwise have any form of pension. And I think that it will provide considerable support for people drawn from the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As I understand it, it is meant to be a payment of $200 per month over a 9-month period for up to 500 persons, and I think that is a significant measure of support. It's not the only thing that is being done along those lines, because of course we know about what's happening with respect to the National Insurance Services. We know that there are provisions for assistance to van drivers and certain other demographics, including persons in tourism and persons in culture who are being affected and who are being displaced.
The police have launched an investigation into the whereabouts of Jeremy Riley, a 32-year-old chauffeur of New Adelphi, Bayabu. According to investigations, Riley has not been seen since Sunday, April the 26th, and today his vehicle was found in the Argyle area. Ward relatives have been joined by residents of Bayabu in conducting a search for the missing young man, who is said to be well known in the community. Today, a search party came up upon Riley's Suzuki Jeep parked next to an abandoned building just a few meters away from the main road in the Argyle area, where curious onlookers, including Area Representative Frederick Stevenson, flocked upon hearing the news. Police officers combed the area for a few hours and were seen removing items from close proximity of the vehicle. However, there was no sight of the missing man. The police are asking anyone with information regarding the disappearance of Riley that would assist in the investigation to contact the Assistant Commissioner in charge of crimes at 1784-456-1339, the officer in charge of the South Central Division at 784-458-4200, or the Bible Police Station at 1784-458-0239. or Police Control at 1784-457-1211, or the nearest police station or police officer you are comfortable with. Our prayers go out to the family of Jeremy Riley. In other news, the SVG Coast Guard Service has been the beneficiary of 2 donations recently. On Tuesday, March 31st, 2020, the SVG Coast Guard received a donation in the form of a tractor from the United States Embassy in Bridgetown. According to the commander of the Coast Guard, Brenton Kane, the tractor will be used to aid in deployment and recovery vessels at the Coast Guard base, mainly for service maintenance and vessel rotation. The other donation of $500, which will go towards the Coast Guard Youth Development Summer Program, was made on Monday, April the 27th, 2020, by Neil Kolanga, captain of the sailing yacht SY, and crew member Samantha Barrow. According to the Kolinga and Barrow, the donation is a show of their gratitude to Lieutenant Commander Enos Hamlet and his team of officers from the SVG Coast Guard Service for their valiant efforts in saving their lives and vessel approximately 1 month ago in the waters of SVG. Speaking on behalf of the Coast Guard Service, Commander Brenton Kane applauded the donors for their financial contribution towards the department's youth development program. He gave the assurance that their donation will go a long way in molding the youth of SVG for the life's high seas. And Vincentians interested in pursuing a master's degree in areas such as disaster risk management, natural resource management, climate change, civil and environmental engineering can apply for a scholarship to do so from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CCRIF. These scholarships for the academic 2020-2021 are tenable at the universities in the Caribbean, USA, UK, and Canada, and will be either online or face-to-face programs. CCRIF says it will provide at least 8 scholarships for postgraduate students in member countries. The deadline for application for the 2020 CCRIF scholarship programs is in June 15, 2020. Accordingly, at the undergraduate level, CCRIF said it will continue to provide through the University of the West Indies 4 undergraduate scholarships per year valued at $8,000, each $4,000 per year for the second and final year for students registered at one of the UWI campuses and pursuing select degrees related to disaster risk management, civil engineering, geography, environmental management, etc. For further information on the application process for these scholarships, interested persons are asked to visit the CCRIF website at http://www.ccrif.org/content/scholarship. Since the launch of the scholarship program, CCRIF has awarded 77 scholarships to Caribbean nationals, totaling US $1.13 million to complete undergraduate or postgraduate programs at the University of the West Indies and universities in the USA and the UK. These scholarships are provided as part of CCRIF's Technical Assistance Programs, which was launched in 2010.